At Central Elementary in Union, Missouri, the best teachers may just be two students.
Hi, Mr. Camera.
They are both individually incredible.
First graders Vincent Butterfield and Zach Gossage are very good friends and often very silly.
Why does the chicken cross the playground?
Why?
To get to the other slide.
But recently, there wasn't a lot to laugh about.
It was terrifying.
Last June, after feeling ill and tired for weeks, Zach was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a fast-growing cancer of the white blood cells.
As a parent, you want to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to your child, and when something does, you want to be able to fix it. And I couldn't.
Still, while everybody around him took it hard, Zach took it in stride. Despite frequent trips to the hospital, he almost never missed a day of school.
Because I get to play with Vincent outside at recess.
As for Vincent, he started asking questions and learning about cancer.
It's when your white blood cell and your red blood cell fight.
Then he learned that Zach's treatments were expensive.
We had been making these scarves just like this, and he just kind of said it would be cool if we could make a whole bunch of these and sell them.
He sold more than 20, earning a couple of $100.
You raised $200? That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who did you give it to?
Zach.
Vincent also found out that Zach might lose his hair because of the chemotherapy treatments.
I have a dream.
So one day he showed up to Mrs. Kester's first grade class wearing a stocking cap.
And he said, Mrs. Kester, I have a surprise for Zach. And I said, well, you do? And he said, yes, I do. And he pulls off his stocking cap, and here I see that he shaved his head.
I cut it off.
You cut off your hair? How
Yeah.
come?
To make Zach feel like he's not the only one without any hair.
Come on in.
Zach continues to get treatments and continues to come to school every day.
He comes in and you say, how are you? And he says, fine.
And Vincent? Well, he may be young, but he's teaching us the oldest lessons.
What is friendship? What is friendship?
A beautiful thing.
Indeed it is.
Hi, hi, hi.
Clearly, wisdom doesn't always come with age.
Okay. Let's go.
Denver, Colorado is called the Mile High City. But for Frank and Jamie Bruno, it's 850 miles from home.
I grew up in St. Louis.
The Brunos moved here last October. They say to save their daughter's life. Grace was diagnosed with a form of epilepsy when she was just 5 months old. She's been suffering through as many as 300 seizures a day.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, there's nothing worse than seeing your perfect little baby have seizures.
Every seizure caused trauma to her brain and stunted her development. A hospital room became as familiar as the family living room.
Well, from there, it was just a series of different medications that we tried.
Nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
Then, after doing months of research, the Bruno family learned about a strain of marijuana that has been helping other kids with intractable seizures. It's called Charlotte's Web, which has very high levels of cannabidiol, or CBD, and very low levels of THC, the psychoactive ingredient found in recreational marijuana. So a child taking this is not going to get high?
No, you would have to take a really, really extraordinary dose to feel much in the way of psychotropic effect.
In here, by next spring, be able to produce 500,000 plants.
Jesse Stanley and his brothers created Charlotte's Web on their medical marijuana farm in Colorado Springs, and they're about to open a new lab in Boulder. Their Realm of Caring nonprofit foundation provides cannabis oil to children, but by law, to get it, you have to be a resident of Colorado.
I was kind of like, that's that's really extreme. I was like, I don't want to leave my family and my support system.
But St. Louisans Matt and Jenny Jesse felt they were out of options for their 2-year-old daughter, June.
Oh, there you go.
So they, too, decided to move to Colorado after doctors wanted to retry one of the 14 medications they had already prescribed.
We just decided that instead of trying something that we've already tried and failed, we were going to try something new.
Over the last 16 months, more than 200 families have moved here to Colorado, looking for the hope they haven't been able to find anywhere else.
Grace gets about this much.
As an oil extract, each dose comes in liquid form, which Grace swallows 3 times a day. The Brunos now call it a marijuana miracle.
And that's it. We haven't seen a seizure in 24 days. It's the longest we've ever gone. We've never even been 1 day.
There you go, Ladybug.
As for June, the Jessies assert she's gone from 40 to 50 seizures a day
There you go. Hello.
to just 5. And they've only been on the oil for 2 months.
I want people to know that this has changed June's life.
Of course, not every family has the ability to move halfway across the country.
This is the one you like.
And for those who do, there is no going back. Not for Thanksgiving or even Christmas.
We can't cross state lines with her medication or we're considered criminals.
But for right now, the journey for these families is not about what they've lost, but what they've found. Hundreds of miles from St. Louis, home is quite simply hope.
You see them in pain, you'll do anything to help them.
In this small backyard studio, you can find recording equipment, talented musicians, and a whole lot of compassion. This is Sidetrack Studios, which has been a home away from home for local talent ever since Mike Earhart opened it up.
I had a couple rooms that were vacant, and I built a little studio.
They'll come here to work on one project or another, although lately it's actually been just one project.
Musicians are a breed, and we try to take care of each other. When somebody calls, we go.
Today, they're laying down the final tracks of an album composed by a local songwriter. They're finishing the work because he no longer can.
It's our big hug.
Okay.
Our big hug of the day.
56-year-old Paul Orso has ALS.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
I noticed that I started walking with a limp.
It started almost 3 years ago. Orso was an avid marathoner and a successful businessman who married his high school sweetheart. The diagnosis was devastating.
Took our breath away, and just kind of life just stopped right there.
Let me see if I can do it.
Also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS is a rapidly progressive neuromuscular disease, and there is no cure. But feeling sorry for himself is not in Paul Orso's nature.
Yeah, he's Pollyanna with testosterone.
So with Kathy's encouragement, Orso decided to face the music, literally. He's been writing songs since he was 12 years old, with subjects like life, laughter, and love. So this was for someone in particular?
I was dating a girl at the time.
He's been married to that girl for 36 years. And now, with time casting its heavy shadow, she thought it was about time to get those songs recorded.
So he came over and he said, well, you know, I probably got about 2 years to live. And I'm like, what?
Earhart not only opened up the doors to his studio, he helped recruit other local musicians.
Oh my gosh, they're beautiful people.
While he was still strong, Orso recorded his voice. And then together they all produced the soundtrack of his life. The name of the album is Beyond Words, and for the Orsos, it truly is.
Just remember there's a thought and endless wanting for you.
I just had chills from my head, top of my hairs to the bottom of my toes.
It's an incredible thing. It exceeds anything I ever imagined.
Making music and making a difference.
To understand.
It may never reach the top of the charts, but this is one album that's already hit all the right notes.
You know what? He'll live on forever. He'll live forever in that music.